Hey, I'm Roman Lily, and this is my channel, Roman Around the World, and today I have a really essential video for you. So if you are interested in a visa for the US, or really for any foreign country, today I'm talking with a man who works at a US Consulate. He's talking about scams that he's heard about of people getting fake visa documents. He's also talking about what not to do if you don't want to have your visa not be approved. A lot of really helpful information. So lucky that I met him and was able to chat with him. So stay tuned for this talk. You don't want to miss it. And also make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. I'm here in India traveling around. There's lots of fun and interesting chats coming up and all over the world. So there's a lot to come. Subscribe and let's get into this talk right now. All right. I'm excited because today I am chatting with Lee, who, by the way, we met just only earlier today. It's so funny how life works and travel works and you never know who you're going to meet. And I had the good fortune of having lunch with Lee, who works for the US Consulate here in India, but we're not talking on official consulate. You know, this isn't like an official consulate interview, but he is an expert. So we're going to get some of his expert personal opinion about scams. And actually, a lot of the time, if you watch some of my videos, I talk about travel scams and what not to do. By the way, we're on a swing, so I'm going to try to keep this mildly still. But if you see us moving and you're wondering why, we're sitting on a nice swing here in Barkala, India. But so I talk a lot about travel scams and what to do to make sure you're not scammed. But by the way, it's not only travelers that have to worry about some travel-related scams. Locals, people here in India, can also watch out, because you were telling me about some scams that you found out about that were happening with Indians about trying to get a US visa.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So, of course, most Indians are very tech savvy and use the internet a lot, and they often are looking for opportunities in the world, similar to how a lot of Americans look for opportunities as well. And it's happening sort of an increasing consistency here that Indians get job offers via the internet, and they often are from somebody out in cyberspace, be that in India or in the US or maybe a third country, who knows, where they're told, oh, if you just pay this certain amount of money, then you can have this job and you can have this American visa. And so, unfortunately, some people are convinced that that's real, and they send money through wire transfer, waiting for their plane ticket and American visa.
And I see how this could seem very plausible, because, I mean, if I was applying for a job, I would apply online and look for jobs online. I mean, there are real jobs, as we all know, online. So I guess, are there any red flags before even when we get to the part of sending the money, which is a huge red flag, but are there any things that you hear about, like in the job offers or sort of in the setup of these stories, that can sort of alert people that maybe something is strange?
Yeah, definitely. So one of them is any promise of an American visa, because here in India, as well as in lots of countries, to go to the US you would need a visa, but that comes from the US Embassy or Consulate. And so anybody who says, oh, just send us money and you have the visa, they're probably just scamming you and waiting for your money, and then you won't hear from them again.
Oops. Camera's bouncing around. So a guaranteed visa is a red flag. Definitely. Because no one can guarantee a visa. And of course, companies can try to get one.
Sure, and also anybody who is purporting to be from the American Embassy or Consulate, who are using a .com address or a .net address,
okay,
or anything that's not a .gov address.
Right. Yeah. So U.S. government is .gov. There's no exceptions. Now, there can be stuff, though, before the .gov, right? Different. Yeah, but there's .gov on the very end, always.
For an American government.
For an American government
address. Yeah, so sometimes the scamming entities will go to the American Embassy website and take the ambassador's name, or take the name of the official Americans from the website, and then basically copy and paste those and make things look very official. But again, in the correspondence, if it's coming from any sort of .com, even if it's like usembassy.com or
Right.
.net, then that's not official, and they're trying to look official and trying to get you to send them money, and in the end it's a scam. So.
And you mentioned before this, like we're here in India, you're here in India,
Hmm.
but this isn't even just unique to India. This is happening, it's kind of anywhere this
Correct.
can happen.
Yeah, because that could be, like, who knows where these are originating from? Are they originating in India? Are they in another country? It's not clear because it's internet based. So
Right.
if something sounds too good to be true, then it probably is.
And like how much money are some of these scammers getting?
Yeah, hundreds to thousands of dollars that people are willing to send for promises.
And now, is it always tied to a job, or is it sometimes just like where people are told they can pay for a visa?
Can be both.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's, I mean, in general, you can get a US visa at a US Consulate or a US Embassy only, and not from a travel agent, and not from any sort of internet-based entity that claims give money, will give that to you.
Right.
So,
No shortcuts. And by the way, we were chatting earlier about like how people come to try and get a visa sometimes, and they lie.
that can happen, unfortunately, that people misrepresent themselves. The best thing to do is, of course, be honest about your intentions. And
Right. Just want to tell people, so if you are interested in a visa, avoiding scams is key, but also don't waste your own time and your actual money on a visa application if you're going to lie. Because if you lie and they find out, I mean, that's just like a guaranteed no, right?
yeah, and it can actually lead to a permanent ineligibility to access the United States. So,
Right. I was watching like some kind of like border patrol show
yeah, interesting.
at one point, and they were saying how like certain infractions can lead to a lifetime ban. So it's really not always worth it. And I guess I wonder, what kinds of things do people lie about, and what kind of lies can get you banned from entering the U.S.?
Yeah, so in general, any material misrepresentation, so that's where you present something that's not accurate. You're showing that, for example, you have all this business or all this money and you actually don't, or if you're claiming that you're going to be studying but you don't have acceptance into a university. There's all sorts of ways that people misrepresent their true intent of travel to try to access various countries in the world. The US is just one. So,
And that can result in a lifetime ban of not being able to
yeah,
visit.
it can, that's right. So,
And then, so I guess, well, the question that I would think, and I guess maybe some people might think is, like, oh, so you actually check. Because, by the way, I've done certain visa applications where it's so quick, the approval, they didn't check anything. I don't even think they checked my last name, like, or I really wonder. So I guess you do some checking just to legitimize some things, and I also feel like some people are also just bad liars. Like, you need to check yourself. If you're a bad liar, please don't lie to a consulate.
that's good advice.
Any tips for travelers who want to travel, want to come to the U.S. or any other foreign country, things they should do or kind of have in order before they set out?
Sure. Well, it's always good when traveling to make sure that your, for example, family back home know where you're going in case you need to be reached for an emergency. It's good to have the contact information of your embassy or consulate in the foreign countries where you're traveling in case you were to lose your passport or have your money stolen or have an emergency yourself and need assistance. So if an Indian, for example, is traveling to the US, it's great to have the contact information for the Indian embassy in the United States or any of the Indian consulates. Same for Americans traveling here. The US, for example, has the embassy in New Delhi, the capital, and then there are 4 consulates here in India that assist Americans when they're traveling.
There's help.
Yeah.
There's help
So,
available, which is
absolutely.
nice. And then any other tips for people who want to make sure they're not getting scammed?
Yeah, so it's always good to verify any information. If you're, for example, getting a job offer and it's just through the internet and you haven't actually talked to somebody and they're promising all sorts of things if you just send money, it's kind of a red flag because they're just trying to get you to send money for a service that you have no guarantee of getting. So
Right.
the internet's always a murky place because you don't know who's on the other side of that email or that internet chat.
Yeah, and I feel like extra verification is always helpful. Like when I was I had like a whole binge watching session recently of watching all these catfish shows and different shows, and it seems like what a lot of people don't do with certain scams is that extra layer of verification, right? Calling a certain place. Does this person actually work there? Don't just call a number they gave you. Call a number from an official website, right? Like to actually kind of do some real checking and digging can save you a lot of hassle.
Good advice.
There you go. That's Absolutely. It for now. Anything you want to leave us with?
No, I just think it's great that you're out traveling and that you're sharing your experiences and your wisdom with your viewers here. So,
oh, thank you. That's so
keep
sweet.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I love it. So nice.
Perfect.
And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a lot more coming up from here in India and all around the world. So, I'll see you later.